All right. Hello, hello, hello. It's your girl, Valerie Priester, the master, master business and mindset coach, the female life coach, is helping you go from overwhelm to profits in your coaching business. And today we're here with our live business by design, and we're going to talk about how I manifested a six-figure coaching business. I'm going to give you three things that are so very important to you being able to manifest the business and the life of your dreams, right? I know that this journey of entrepreneurship is not the easiest thing to accomplish. And it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of dedication. It takes time. It takes money. It takes an investment in, your soul a lot of times, because you are constantly building something that you have a passion for. And when things don't always go the way that we plan for them to go, it can be crushing. It can be devastating. It can make you feel like, oh my goodness, why am I doing all of this, right? What is the purpose? What is the reason why I am digging my heels in and constantly feeling like I'm working and working and working and working, sometimes to the point of overwhelm and burnout, right? I've been there. I've been there. I have been in this industry and in my business for 13 years. And let me just say, those 13 years have not all been roses and, flowers and berries. It just hasn't. Probably the first 5 years or so were a I don't like to say struggle, but the truth is it was challenging. It was really, really challenging because there was a lot of things that I had to learn. And then there was a lot of work that had to go into this. And for most of you who know me, you know that when I started, of course, I was still working a full-time, very stressful, very demanding career as a lead project manager for the largest medical facility in Michigan. And so it wasn't always easy, but I knew that I had this desire and this dream to be able to first help other people, help other women. Secondly, to be able to generate an income from a business successfully. Because I am one that I have been in so many different businesses, right? I started so many different businesses. And that's because I believe that entrepreneurship was always a part of my being. It was a part of who I really am. I watched my maternal grandparents who were entrepreneurs at heart, right? I watched them be entrepreneurs and a lot of times hold down jobs while doing it to make sure that that ends were being met. So I feel like I've always had that in my blood. I feel like I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. And so even though this was a passion and a dream and a desire, it didn't just fall in my lap. I think a lot of times people get delusional because you think that, you can do one thing, or you can put out one marketing campaign, you can put out one Facebook post, you can do one challenge. And from that, you're going to get this boatload of clients knocking down your door. And that's not true. That's not true for most people. Now, is it possible? Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure someone has had that level of success instantly, right? I'm sure that phenomenon was created for someone, but it's not the norm. And so when we think about what does it take to build a sustainable, profitable business, it requires a lot of dedication, work, time, money, energy, all of that, all of it. So let me share with you the three main things that helped me to really manifest a six-figure business. When I started chasing the whole six-figure thing, because you hear it all the time. Hi, Brandy, good to see you. You hear it all the time that, six-figure earner, I could teach you how to make six figures in 4 months. I could teach you how to make six figures in 6 months. You hear that all the time. And I used to be a huge chaser of that because that's what I wanted. But one of the things I realized was I was chasing this six-figure thing, but I didn't really even know what that was, other than it was a lot of money. Other than it was a lot of money, right? I didn't really know that behind that six figures, there's a lot of work. There's a lot of time commitment. There's a lot of investment that needs to go into it. There's a lot more involved in this six figures than just the money, right? And so as I chased that six figure year after year, signing up for course after course, hiring coach after coach, being on webinars, being on master classes, just all kinds of things chasing this six figures, I realized that I really didn't understand and know what it was. And the very first thing that I had to really get clear on, I'm going to share 3 things with you. The very first thing that I had to get really clear on was my goal and my vision for my business. It could not be anyone else's vision or anyone else's goal or anyone else's idea of what that had to be for me. It had to be my goal and my vision for my business. And I had to get very, very specific with it. A lot of people just aren't clear in that, right? It's not enough to say that you want to make a lot of money. It's not enough to say that you want to help a lot of people. That's not a goal. It's not a clear vision. You have got to get very, very specific and say, this is what I desire, right? This is what I want to do. This is the number of people that I want to help. So when we talk about getting clear on your goals, I'm talking about things like I want to earn $100,000 in my business this year, right? Or I want to earn $200,000 in my business this year. What is the real figure? Not just 6 figures. What is the real figure? Because 6 figures can be 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, 500, 6, 7. You get the picture, right? It can be any one of those numbers. So what is your real number? And here's another thing that, kind of helped me to really tie into manifesting what I was looking for. It couldn't just be this just number that I pulled out of the sky that, $100,000 would be great. It had to really be the number that I not only needed to generate in my business, but that I desire to generate in my business. So let's first look at the need to generate the income in your business. What is the need? What do you need it for? Right? So I had to break that thing down and look at, okay, what are my household expenses, right? What are the things that I am responsible for every single month? And how much money does it take to make sure that those things are covered? That's the first step. Knowing for certain, what is that number? Right? And then the second thing is, how much more do I want in order to have a cushion, in order to feel like I don't have to worry about money, I don't have to worry about paying the bills, and I can be able to, buy some nice things if I wanted to buy some nice things without having to worry about looking at the price tag or can I afford it this month, right? What is that extra number that I want to add on to that to make certain that I can live that type of lifestyle? And then that helped me to come up with my real number, not just 6 figures. Okay. The other thing is you got to get clear on, how many clients do you want to help? It can't just be, I want to help a lot of people. That's not a goal. That's not a clear vision. How many clients do you want to help? Is it 50 a year? Is it 100 a year? Is it 20 a year? Is it 5 a year? What is that number? And then you can always reverse engineer and back into what the dollar amount is that you're going to earn when you have met that goal of really helping that many clients. Right? Now, of course, all of that's going to depend on what your fees are and what you're charging, right? So you got to look at all those pieces. Another very specific thing is, what do you want to launch? What services or products do you want to launch this year? How many, right? You got to get clear on that. You got to also be clear on how hard do you want to work? How many days do you want to work? I don't want to say how hard you want to work, but how many days a week do you want to work? How many days a month do you want to work? How many vacations do you want to take a year? Right? How much time do you want to really schedule and take off for yourself in a year? When you get specific and clear on things like that, then you're better able to start working and moving towards the vision that you have, right? You've heard that the people perish without vision. If you don't have a vision of where you're going, you could end up anywhere, and you will end up anywhere. You have to have a destination. It's no different than you getting in your car and, turning on your GPS and saying, well, I don't really know where I want to go. Well, how is the car going to guide you? How is the GPS system going to guide you of where you're going if you can't tell it where you're going, right? That little small detail has to be involved in getting you to your destination, the destination that you want to go to. You have to know it. You have to know what you want. That's number one, get a clear goal and vision for what you want in your business. Number two, stop chasing the 6 figures. Because anything that you chase is always going to elude you. Anything that you chase is always going to be away from you, right? Stop chasing it. Just stop chasing it. When you get clear on the vision, when you get clear on the goal of what you're aiming to achieve, right? And the target that you're aiming to hit, then just do the things that will get you there. But stop chasing the six figures, right? Stop launching any and everything just for the money. Stop taking any and every client just for the money. That's all chasing it, right? Stop accepting, again, anyone to work with you just because of the money. And here's the big one. Stop lowering your fees just so you could bring in some money. That mindset is totally different than bringing in income with fees that are charged at the right rate so that you can reach your income goal. It's totally different than you just settling for, I'm gonna, lower my fees so that at least I'm getting paid something. That mindset will not get you to six figures. It won't get you even close to six figures. What it will get you is a lot of hustle, a lot of grind, burnout, and overwhelm. That's what it will get you, right? And I know that to be true because I've been there. I've been there. So stop chasing it. Create a real plan to achieve it. Have a real goal and a real vision that you're working towards so that you can achieve it. But stop chasing it. That's number two. Number three, this is the most important one, develop the mindset to manifest six figures. It requires a certain mindset. And that is a growth mindset, right? It requires you believing in yourself. That's a starting point. Believing that you can create six figures. Because if you don't believe that you can, not just anybody, but you can create six figures. If you don't believe it, it will most likely never happen for you. And so you have to start with the belief that you can do it. And here's what I always said, if someone else can do it, I surely can do it. Because I do know that God is no respecter of person. I do know that if he's allowed anyone else to reach that certain level of income, that certain level of success, then it's possible for me as well. So you have to start with believing in yourself. Secondly, you have to discover your relationship to money, because a lot of your relationship to money could be holding you back. A lot of your relationship to money could be the barrier or the obstacle between you and a higher level of income, whether that's 5 figures or 6 figures, it doesn't matter. If you're trying to reach the next level and you have not really discovered what your true relationship is to money, and you're holding this negative relationship to money, or a relationship to money that doesn't support wealth creation or abundance, right? That's going to keep you from getting there. So you must discover your real relationship to money. And you know that that's tied into a lot of what we were taught. That's tied into a lot of how we were brought up, right? I'm sure you're probably just like me. You probably heard your parents or the adults in your life say, so many times, oh, we can't afford that, or I can't afford that. We can't get that, or, and that really seeps into your being, and you learn that behavior, and that becomes a part of your money relationship or your relationship to money. Right. And so when you have heard that, when you practice that, you find yourself even saying that. I found myself saying it. I found myself saying it to my own child, right? When I was raising her, it's like, oh, we can't afford it. We can't afford it. We can't afford it. So we have to get clear and discover what is your relationship to money. The other thing is you got to clean out all money habits, right? You got to clean out the negative thought patterns. You got to clean out all of that is around money that is keeping you, again, from reaching the income level that you're looking for. If you are not diligent in paying your bills, if you are not diligent in keeping your records, if you're not diligent in making sure that you're not commingling your personal and your business funds, if you're not doing what you need to do to be a good steward of your money, your income, it is almost impossible for it to grow. Because the truth is, if it grows any larger and you're doing some of these bad money habits, it'll just create chaos and certainly gloom and doom for you. And that's never what God intended for you. Never. Right? So this thing looks like, when we talk about the mindset, it looks like really making sure that everything that you do, you have the right energy around it, you have the right mindset around it, you have the right practices around it, right? Because every single thing that you do comes back. Everything that you put out comes back. If you're constantly late on your bills, guess what? The clients that you bring in, they're going to constantly be late paying you. If you're constantly penny pinching, oh, I can't afford that, I can't afford this, and I'm not going to spend money on that. I'm going to try the freebie. I'm going to try just to hop on the webinar and get the free stuff that they give out, but I'm not going to invest to really learn. Your potential clients are sitting back saying the same thing. I'm not going to pay her. I'm just going to get on her webinar. I'm just going to get on her masterclass. I'm just going to join her challenge and see what she has to offer. Whatever you put out comes back. Okay. The other thing is this. You have to learn to release money freely. And I think I kind of just flowed right into that, right? You have to learn to release money freely so that money can circulate back to you. That's why they call it currency, because it circulates. It has to create a current, right? So if you're not putting it out freely, if you're not giving freely, if you're not investing in yourself freely, then you cannot expect for it to come back. One of the things that I always say is that, especially in this coaching space, if you are a coach looking to help other people and you want them to hire you, but yet you won't hire help for yourself, that will never work, because what you're putting out is what you're getting back. What you're putting out is what you're getting back. And now I know I hear all the time, oh, I can't afford to hire a coach. I can't afford to do this, can't afford to do that. It's about your mindset around that, because you can certainly afford anything that you desire, especially in the realm of learning something, investing in yourself, right? I can't tell you how many years I gave up getting my nails done, getting my hair done, right? All of those pieces, because every dime that I had that was extra from taking care of household responsibilities, every dime went into my business. And so things like that I considered was kind of a waste, because if I really wanted to learn how to grow this business, if I really wanted to get my income to a certain level, I had to invest in myself first. And so I was willing to forego those things in order to create the business that I now have today, right? All of that is about your mindset. All of that is about your money habits. All of it. So the three things. Number one, you must have a clear goal and vision. You got to know where you're going. Number two, you must make certain that you stop chasing six figures. Create your goal, your vision, and then create a plan to get there. And then number three, you got to develop the mindset to be a six-figure earner. And that mindset has nothing to do with lack, poverty, scarcity, fear, any of that, right? Those are the three main things that I had to do. I had to do the work and work through that in order to create the six-figure business that I have today. It didn't just drop in my lap. It didn't happen overnight. And here's a big thing. Here's a big one. I'm gonna give you a fourth one. A fourth one is that you have to be willing to take on opportunities that you don't feel like could be the right opportunity, or let me not say the right opportunity, or maybe not the thing that you want to do, right? It's kind of like when you were first learning how to be in corporate America and to have a job, right? I don't think any of us was like super excited about, I'm going to go to work. I'm going to go to work for someone, but maybe just a little, because you going to work meant that you were moving into adulthood, and now you could earn your own money and all that stuff, right? But after you've been on the job for a year or so, you start to realize it's not as much fun as I thought it was going to be, right? So even with that, it's like sometimes opportunity comes and it doesn't always look like opportunity. I like the way Lisa Nichols says it, that sometimes opportunity comes wrapped in sandpaper. And so many of us will discard the opportunity because of the wrapping, because of how it looks, instead of really investigating and looking at how can this opportunity be the one that will help me to get to the next level, right? Because all of them aren't going to look the way that you think they should look. And all of them aren't going to produce the way that you think they should produce. But if you're not open to different ways of reaching the income level that you're looking for, that's also going to be a barrier and an obstacle to you reaching a six-figure level or any level. Seriously, right? So you got to be open. You got to be willing to look at every opportunity that comes your way. All right, those are my points for the day. That is our Business by Design for the day. Remember to join me next week for another Business by Design. And if again, are feeling like, oh, I'm just so stuck in this, I'm so stuck in, feeling overwhelmed and feeling burnout and feeling like, I just want to give up and I want to get a job. And in fact, I was just talking to one of my mastermind colleagues earlier today, and that's where the space that she was in this morning, and I had to kind of help her through that. Is like she was feeling like I just want to give up and get a job. This is just too much. I'm burnt out. I'm overwhelmed. I just want to get a job. Thank you, Brandy. Right? I felt that way a lot of times. I did. Right? So that's normal to feel that way. But often when we feel that way, it's because we are going against the grain. We are creating so much resistance. And that can come from chasing after the six figures. That can come from constantly doing so many different things that we think will get us there, but we're not really focused on one thing to master it, right? If you've been following me for any length of time, I'm real big on let's focus on one thing, master that, and then you can always add other pieces. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't be a, serial entrepreneur. It doesn't mean that you can't do that, but you have to understand and know that everything that you launch, everything that you do requires energy, time, investment, money, all of it, all of it. And if you have too many going, it's hard for you to really focus in and create the mastery that you need to create in order to start generating the income that you need to generate, right? I get it. I get it. So if you feel like you're stuck, you're burnout, you really just need help with all of this, right? That this is a good opportunity for you to really schedule your 90-minute strategy session with me. And let's hammer out a real plan. Let's get really clear on your goal and your vision. What do you want this business to look like? What is it that you want to offer? How many clients do you want to work with? Let me help you, really come up with the right pricing structure, the right coaching structure for your business so that you're not continuing to struggle and feel like you're never going to get there. Because it really is a lot easier to get there than you think, but it has to start with the three things that I covered, right? A clear vision, clear goal of where you're going. It has to start with you eliminating the chase for the money. It has to start with you developing the right mindset to be a six-figure earner, okay? Let me help you with that. Schedule your 90-minute session. Let's hammer it out. I would love really to work with you and help you to start going down the path of creating the six figures, right? We have 6 more months in this year. Can you believe it? We're halfway through. We're halfway through this year. The next 6 months can be totally different for you if you take some different actions. If you keep doing the same thing, the next 6 months are going to look just like the first 6 months. You're going to go into next year. It's going to be New Year's Day, and you're going to say the same thing. This is my year. How many times have you said that? This is my year, right? How many times have you said that to yourself? How many times have you made that promise to yourself that this is my year? I'm going to do something different. I'm going to really, hammer in on this business. I'm going to really create the income that I'm looking for. But yet you don't change the things that you're doing. If you do not change the things that you're doing, and more importantly, if you don't change your mindset, nothing's going to be different. It's going to be the same thing year after year after year. And so you have to ask yourself the question, how many more years am I willing to give until I reach the goal that I'm looking for? How many more years am I willing to waste until I reach the goal that I'm looking for? Right? Ask yourself the hard questions and answer it honestly and truthfully. And if it is truly time for you to get out of the being stuck and being overwhelmed and being burnt out and feeling like you want to give up, if it's truly that time, then you need to take action and make the right step, right? Schedule your 90-minute session with me. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I will leave the link below so you can get all the details of what you get in the 90-minute session. And let's really, look at how do we get you from point A to point Z, or even point A to point F, further along than where you are, right? Over the next 6 months in this year. How do we get you there? Okay. All right. That's it for today. I will make sure to see you guys next week for another episode of Business by Design. Remember, we're here at 12 noon Central Time. And remember also, you can join me on Zoom. If you have any questions that you want to ask, right, I opened it up so that you can join me on Zoom, because if you want to ask questions, sometimes the comment box moves a little slow. So if you want to ask questions, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. And all you have to do is join me on Zoom, and you can come on, I can see you on camera. You can ask the question in live moments, right? Live and in color, as I say, right? All right, guys, that's it for the day. I hope you have an amazing 4th of July weekend. I am actually getting ready to take a trip to visit our youngest son, and we're super excited about that. So I hope you enjoy your holiday. Be safe, right? And remember, designing your victory is a choice. You get to start today. Hope to talk to you soon. Bye.